Hey guys, this is Bobby Grubb with Grub Mud Concrete. So now we're working on these exposed ag steps, part 2 of a 2-part series, how to pour exposed steps. Exposed aggregate steps. Anybody that knows anything about exposed aggregate would tell you exposed aggregate's pretty easy work to do. Well, finishing wise it is, but you got to be careful. You don't want to start spraying it off too fast. You got to be careful what you use for your delay or retarder. There's a lot of different things, and there's many different ways to do this. I don't ever say my way is the only way to do it. There's a ton of different ways to skin a cat, right? So yeah, so ours is just one way, and we don't always just talk about concrete. We dive pretty deep in the whole lifestyle of a concrete finisher, or concrete guy, or a guy that's starting up his own company, because basically that's where I'm at right now. My company is only 4 years old. I would really consider this being the first full year of us even being in existence. And when you guys hear that, I don't want you to think, oh, Bobby's only been doing concrete for a few years. No, I've actually got over 20 years in the mud. I got a license to work on airplanes, A&P license. I went to college for it. Well, 3/4 of the way through college, 9/11 happened, and there wasn't anybody hiring airplane mechanics. But I went ahead and finished college and got my associate's degree because I wasn't going to just go halfway through and not finish, because that's not the type of guy I am. And that reflects even to this day, even on our job sites. I don't do a half-ass job. I'd pretty much do every job like I would do at my own house, and this is at basically my own house. So, you know, this is how we do it. I'm not saying it's the only way to do it, but it's definitely worked out for us. So what we're doing on this one is we're pouring it with the pea gravel mix. It's a 4,000 stone or 4,000 pea gravel air. And we didn't put, I can't remember if we put fiber in it or not. I don't think we did because it's exposed ag, but that would be interesting to know in the comments if you guys ever put fiber in exposed ag, and how did that turn out. See, I don't claim to know it all. I ask guys questions on here. I look at it kind of like as a community too, and you know, like I said at the beginning part of this video, you're going to get what you want out of this channel. I'm going to dive deep into some other topics of life, parts of life that I've experienced, and if it can help somebody out, then heck yeah, you know. Or if somebody's getting ready to pour something and they see that, oh, you can do this, I didn't know that. Well, if that helps somebody out, then people are getting value. And that's kind of what you know, at first I'd made this channel just for basically a video library of jobs that I could do in the future, but now I actually look forward to being able to help somebody out. The times that I get comments like that, it's really touching, and it means a lot to me. So I appreciate everybody that watches these videos, and I you know, definitely appreciate the people that hit the like button and the subscribes or whatever, or the comments. You know, if you take your time out of your day to make a comment on one of my videos, you know, I'm going to respond to it. I don't care how many people make a comment. I will respond to it. I wouldn't, even if, you know, I was really big, and I think I would respond to all my comments. I don't care if I'd have to have somebody read them to me while I worked. I would respond to them. It means that much to me. You might think that's BS, but it's definitely the truth. And the guys that comment week after week on my channel, they could probably definitely vouch for it, that I'm telling the truth. It's a pretty tight knit community, and it's pretty cool. And the cool thing about it is when I do get a new person that's never commented before, I got like a memory, like a elephant, I guess is what they say. I remember pretty much everybody's name that's ever commented. May not remember where they're from or what they said exactly until I get to know them a little bit better. But if you're a new person and you comment on my video, you know, I welcome you. I welcome you, and I think it's a good idea, and I definitely let you know how much I appreciate that you support the channel and stuff. But anyway, enough about YouTube. I'm gonna kind of dive deep into this, and you know, try to give a little bit of value to the guys that are watching this for the concrete aspect. So we're bringing it up with the tractor. We just pulled the truck in the back driveway, and then full straight in, straight out. You don't spin. just back straight up, and the guy will drop a chute down right into your bucket. And then what I did was I went ahead and brought a bunch at first because I knew I was a little bit faster at it than Justin. And you know, he would just make sure that he's going to be, you know, going. He wouldn't want to spill anything. Me is different, you know. But so I get on it first and I bring in some mud, and you might wonder why we're not just dumping it, because I didn't want the forms to blow out. Bottom line. And what we do is I bring about 8 or 10 of them, and then I switch and let Justin start bringing them, and that allows me to start finishing, and him to, you know, every once in a while catch up a side or something. You see how I'm hitting this with the hammer? That's called pecking your forms, and you can use a hammer. I wouldn't use your float. You're gonna dent your float. You could use the bottom of your float, I guess, if you wanted to, but like the very bottom part, not the part you finish with, but the I don't know. I guess I don't know how to explain it in any other words than the bottom part of your float. But either way, I would just have a hammer laying right there and just peck it back and forth. Sometimes I hit it or kick it with my boot if it's a form on a sidewalk or something. You just don't want honeycomb on the sides, and it does actually lower the strength of the edge of the concrete if there's a void in it. So how we did this one is we went ahead and poured it one bucket at a time, and I would float it out, peck it, float it out, and I sprayed the face with the water. I didn't spray it with retarder or put paste on it, because we're going to end up stripping these forms the same day and finishing it just like you would a normal step, and then putting the delay or the retarder on it. The reason I like doing it like that is because you don't have any holes. If you do use the paste and you wait overnight and leave your forms on it, they have to be precise. If they're not, you're gonna have some holes in it, and I don't believe, now I could be wrong, but I've tried it before and it didn't work very good. I don't think you can patch exposed ag very good. It just doesn't seem to look right. They've got some stuff at Lowe's or Menards that supposedly looks like it, but it doesn't. And anytime you seal over the top of it, it's going to be darker. So your best bet is to get it exactly right. Whichever system that you want to use is to get it exactly right. And then I like to cover it with plastic and let it sit overnight. But if you do it like that, you have to pour late in the afternoon. You can't be pouring at 8 in the morning and then leave it till tomorrow at 8 and come back and try to hose it off. You're not going to get that stuff off. I don't care if you do cover it with plastic. So if you pour in the morning, you can put delay on it. You don't have to put plastic on it. And then you can come back later on and use a hose and a broom and spray it off. But you'll see how we did it on this one is I stripped the forms. I faced it out just like I would if it was a normal set of steps. And then I come back. I put delay on it, retarder, put plastic on it, make it airtight with boards. And I spent the night over here at my mom's so I could get on it about 6 in the morning and start spraying it off, and it worked out great. There wasn't a single hole on it. So the only thing I didn't like on this job, and I talked about it in part 1, is when you're putting your radius material on there for your steps, make sure you put some screws on the top. You can see, if you can look real close, in between the masonite or whatever you want to call it, the radius material and the form, there was a couple pieces of pea gravel that got down in between there, so it kind of messed my whole edge up. And I could tell at the end, but I mean, it's nothing. It's my set of steps anyway. But I guess it was a good learning experience. I got it I faced it out pretty good. You could tell if you look real close on that. There's a couple spots of pea gravel got down in between, so you got to be really careful. Make sure you put enough screws, because you don't want that to have happen. I couldn't get them out with the margin trowel or anything. All right, here's Justin and Drew. They're picking up the pieces of plywood. Now, you wouldn't want to drive a machine across the patio that's going to stay there, so we put a bunch of wood down and plywood. And this plywood is like 1.25 inches thick. It's tongue and groove too, so it's really strong stuff. But there it is. If you look on that face, you could see that part I was talking about. But I mean, it still turned out really good, and it serves the purpose that it's supposed to serve. And most of all, I learned a lot from it. And This is how I would do my exposed ag, is I would do it late in the afternoon, cover it with plastic, come back first thing in the morning and spray off your cream. I think it works out good. I've seen guys spray it too early, and there's nothing that looks worse in exposed ag than having a bunch of holes ripped in it. There's my daughter wanting to check it out. Charlie, you've seen her on the channel. She's adorable. She finally got done with her soccer season, so now she's going to be learning how to play basketball, which she's one of the tallest kids in her grade, so I'm going to definitely try to get her in that, see if she wants to do it or not. But yeah, you see, that turned out pretty good. It just has that one spot where that pea gravel got on it, and it threw it off just a little bit, but I rubbed it out right here, and you can't really even, I mean, if you're a concrete guy, you might notice it, but other than that, which is a shame because it was pretty much mint. Here I am spraying the retarder on, the damn sprayer got clogged up, so I just put it on with the brush, and I kind of barely broomed it in because I was going to leave it overnight. So that's surface retarder. It's delay. Some people call it delay. We call it retarder here in Indiana. What that does is it makes the top to where it doesn't allow the top to set up, and when you put the plastic on it, the moisture stays in. So you can come back the next day and spray that cream off, and it leaves you with the pea gravel, the exposed aggregate look, which is a really sharp look. And I've got some ideas on some exposed ag stuff and using permatique and a combo edger. So here's the next day. Basically, we're just spraying it off right here. You can see when you let it set overnight, you're not going to blow out your face. We even power wash this, but you would just want to start off with the hose and a nice easy broom and see how it's starting to come off. There you can see it doesn't come off very easily. That's okay, because that's what they make wire brushes for, or brass brushes I should say, not wire, not steel brushes. But you take it down a little bit at a time. You don't want to just go ham on it, because you're going to rip some holes in it. And like I said earlier, nothing looks worse than holes in exposed ag concrete, if you ask me. What we did do after I got done with all the washes is I filled up a sprayer with some real diluted muriatic acid, and I did a light acid muriatic acid wash on it, and that'll take off the rest of that gray. I know what people say, you should never put acid on fresh concrete, and it's not like I put acid straight on it. I just put a little bit on it to get the rest of that gray off, and I really liked it, actually. And I'm not the type of person that would, you would think that would ever put any type of acid or anything on fresh concrete, but if you do it the right way, you can do it and it'll be fine. But I used to not do it, and you can tell even if you put 2 or 3 coats of sealer on it, you could still see that gray through it. So it really helped on this one, I think. It took about a month for it to fade, but it matches the other patio perfectly now. It's kind of crazy, which is good. That's exposed ag is one of the only type of concretes that you can get to match existing concrete that you have out there. So we got it pretty close here. I hadn't done my acid wash on it yet, but so I acid wash it, and then no, that's still wet. It's not sealed yet, but that's pretty much what it's going to look like sealed. We did get a handrail put on it, but yeah, that looks sharp there. That looks real sharp, especially with that patio. I'm going to pour some walls on it, like carved concrete stone textured walls on the edges, and they're going to go around. So I'm going to deck this patio out. So I have a mixed design that never mind, I'm not going to talk about that. But anyway, there it is. It's just got to be sealed. Here's my daughter one more time. She's so adorable. She's 4 years old. She's got pneumonia right now, so prayers for her. That would be awesome. But it's walking pneumonia, so she's going to be all right. But yeah, works perfect for her. Little 4-inch steps, and my aunt. And this is right after I sealed it, so it looks a little blotchy, but it did. I went ahead and sprayed it one more time with some diamond sealer on top after like one day, and it took all that away. And like I said, now the patio and the steps match perfectly together. So I did use a honey brown sealer. I think it was 20 or 25%, I can't remember. But here's what the rail looked like after we put it on it. And it's pretty damn close to matching right there. But like I said, I'm gonna pour concrete walls on each side of these steps on the bottom. Hey, I appreciate everybody watching. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 1,000 before the year's out. And if you're already a subscriber, hit that like button for me, please.